Well, hello people, and today I decided to, just repaint one of my older paintings. No, nothing too fancy, but yeah, I'm guessing something pretty great came out of that painting experience. I'm thinking if you look at the first painting right here, you will notice that the overall composition seems a little bit off, just generally. The face is not that great, but the main problem is that even though she's in the center, there's too much space on the top, too much empty space. But if you look at this pan here, to the close up of the face, you will notice that, well, pretty much, well, it doesn't look very good. I mean, the hair texture looks fine. Actually, the hair texture is pretty much the best thing about the painting. And the flowers, of course. I'll get to that later. The ribbon is not too bad, but it's not very detailed. It's a bit abstract, kind of like. I think the way it goes over the hair doesn't look very good as well. There's just too much of the ribbon. It's pretty well blended. I would say that the face is not very accurate. Color-wise, it might be fine. But I would say that what I really think is not exactly blended through as well as it could be. The borders are fine. I think the neck is a little bit too thick looking. That's very natural. It's not drawn out like in the other painting. I'll mention it later on. But yeah, the hair, it's the curls of the hair, especially the bottom, they look pretty good to me. I would say the eyes are okay, but the nose isn't like very well done because it requires a lot of precision because it's not that big on the canvas. And I think that the mouth is slightly, I think it's slightly well, it is slanted the way it should be slanted, but it's not great. I mean, it's bigger than the nose. That certainly it's kind of similar to in terms of the original. But if you look at the original, actually the original itself, of course, I mean, it's just, it doesn't look very, the original, the nose is a little bit more volumetric in there. And mine just looks very flat. That's the problem. There's not enough highlights, and I think the lower part of the nose is not very detailed. And just the way the eyes are positioned as well. I think the slant is too great. I would say that the right eye should be a little bit lower. In that sense. Oh, enough about the face. Let's move on to the flowers. The flowers are actually pretty good. That's the only bit that I would say is actually the best out of this painting is the flowers. I mean, they're not really super detailed. A little bit expressionistic, I would say, in some ways. The white and the red roses I would say probably they look better than the other two. The the pink rose is slightly stretched out, just a little bit, and the purplish blue rose, I think, is a little bit too smudged. Well, it was kind of difficult to reproduce it. And now time comes for the second painting. So naturally the second painting is an improvement from the first painting, of course, as it has a lot of volume to it. It's not as flat as the first one. That's the better thing about it. Of course the lips are not the best, but if you just look at this pen, well, it's pretty similar to the one in the last video. You will notice that that the face is looking better, and the angle of the eyes is very clearly a little bit better than last time. Although I would say it could have some improvement. It's still a little bit too sharp in that sense. I still have a little bit of an issue with that, I think. But overall I actually think that it looks closer to the reference than the last one, just generally speaking. The nose is better, the eyes are a little bit better, and the right eye is still a little bit too high, I would think so. But just generally looking at the painting by itself like this, I think that would, of course, yeah, well, pretty much that's the deal here. Yeah, I think it looks a bit better. Yet again, I do think that the slant isn't quite nailed, even though the mouth looks a bit different shape wise, and I just think that the jawbone area is slightly too large. That's my first impression. If we compare those two, maybe I'm just exaggerating, but it seems a little bit too large, just a little bit. The mouth is, yeah, like I said, the mouth is kind of similar, but not that similar. I think the best part is probably the nose. And of course, I think it's still a little bit stretched out. That's the problem. In the other painting, the problem was that the face wasn't detailed enough. But it wasn't as stretched out as this one. Even though this one looks a little bit closer to the actual thing. In that sense. I'm pretty sure the face is not fixable now, because everything's there. The hair's there, everything else is there, so I don't think that's doable. But yeah, that's just my general impression. Of course, the ribbon is well done as well. That's what I think. And yeah, so the arm is not as great. Yeah, it's just a little bit. I don't really like it. Yeah, not much volume on that, but I could still fix it. I would say the veil on the shoulder kind of looks okay. I did have a problem with the neck. That's another issue I had with this. It seems a little bit stretched out, just to me, maybe just to me. It is thin enough, so it's not that thick as in the last painting. That problem was fixed, and the problem is that it's actually too stretched out. That's because I did have the sketch for it initially. The face was much bigger, and so the neck was originally supposed to be smaller, but since I made the face smaller and the body was still down there, it actually looks like now that that the neck is very stretched out. It shouldn't be like this. And I think, the hair looks actually much better than the other one in the other painting. I would say the top bit right above the head looks better in the original one, just a bit more detail in that. But overall, the whole thing just looks slightly more detailed. And of course, it was difficult to do the clothes. Well, I did try on the folds. I really did try, but I'm not really a professional, so you can't. I mean, I can't get it the first time, but I did try. And a bit about the background, I think, as well. Looks like heading into 10-minute territory now, but I hope that some people will make it until this time. So the background is actually inspired by an image from a game called Trine. It's also not a game, it's a game series, more like. So that's just generally I will include the image as well at the end. So I pretty much kind of stole from the image, not going to lie, but I think it looks rather nice. Still, of course the original one is a little bit more detailed with all the pumpkins and stuff and all this lighting, but that was my initial intent, to bring that kind of magic into the background. Of course the leaves are a little bit more detailed. I can do a little bit more, shall we say, expressive, because leaves are obviously, it takes a long time to do each leaf by itself, but the lighting wise is okay. It's pretty accurate, the lamps and everything else, how it should be lit. The moon is still there, like in the original one. The background castles are still in there, so everything is there. But just my main concerns are, the face, the neck, not so good. But everything, and the arm, of course. But everything else is okay. Everything is good. So I do hope you like today's video. Well, I wouldn't really call it a tutorial as such. It's more like how would I say it? A walkthrough from my process, even though I don't show any painting. I really wanted to record the second painting I've done, but I couldn't. So there you have it, pretty much. So I think that's about it. That just pretty much covers it. Alright then.